Keeping up with or staying consistent with our journals is a goal that a lot of us have, especially when it comes to the new setups that we have for the new year. At the start of a new year, a lot of us have a boost of motivation to get things done, but all too quickly that feeling can fade and we kind of just sink back into more familiar patterns of behavior, which may mean neglecting our journals. Today I wanted to chat about some of the things you can do to help keep up with your journal in the year ahead. My first tip is to make it easy to fill in. Because I have quite a few journals on the go at any one time, and I don't necessarily use all of them every single day, but I still want to make it so that filling each of them in is as simple as possible. Part of this means consistency in terms of my supplies, so for pretty much all of my journals I use a Papermate Inkjoy pen to fill them in. And then I also like to keep all of my supplies for the month together. So these are the ones for my everyday bullet journal, or my monthly setups in those, where I do things like my daily planning, monthly planning, that kind of stuff. All of those supplies get housed in this pencil case, which has like some badges on it. It's just, brings a little bit of joy. It makes it a little bit more fun to fill in my journal with supplies that I like to use. This brings us to our second tip, which is to make the process enjoyable. I don't know if you've noticed this, but we're actually way less likely to do stuff that we don't enjoy. So if you don't enjoy your journaling process, you're not going to keep consistent with it. Well, I mean, you could, but it's going to be a lot more of a hassle. One of the ways that I like to make my journaling enjoyable is making it a creative outlet, but I also find sharing my bullet journaling ideas enjoyable, and doing that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of that kind of thing, which also helps to motivate me to fill in or use my journals. Another thing that I have that makes my journaling process enjoyable is having a community that also enjoys journaling. Whether that be my in-person community, like my friend Rachel, we have Bujo Wednesday meetups every week, but we've also got our online communities like the JashiiCorrin community over on Discord or Facebook. Another tip for making keeping up with your bullet journal easier is to keep the journal open. When I have my journal easily accessible and open on my desk, I am much more likely to use it and fill it in. In particular, if the page that I have open is one that I'm using actively. So for me, that would usually be my weekly or daily log. If constantly having your bullet journal open on your desk isn't really viable for you, what you could instead do is use the elastic or one of the bookmarks to mark in the page that you're currently working on. In particular, if you use the elastic, then opening to that page is super simple. Another thing that can kind of deter people from using their journals is the fear of making mistakes. I completely understand you don't want to mess up your new journal setup. You put a lot of time and effort into that, and you want to make sure it still looks the way you want it to. So rather than giving you the tip of don't worry about it, which I just don't think is very helpful, rather my tip is to have a plan for your mistakes. There are plenty of ways that we can fix mistakes in our bullet journal, and I have a video on 18 different methods you could use. So knowing that if you do make a mistake, there is still a way forward can just help ease that pressure a little bit. All of us have little actions throughout the day that we do pretty much on autopilot, and you may have heard these referred to as habits, but what you could do for your bullet journaling is try to habitualize it or routinize it. This could be something like having set points in the day that you check in, even if it's just glancing over your task list. It could be combining your journal use with something else that you're doing consistently every day. For example, if you wake up every morning and have a coffee, maybe combine that coffee having with using your journal. It doesn't have to be a big long journaling session, it is just checking in with your journal on a more regular basis so that you're more likely to keep up with using it. Another tip that I have for being more consistent with your journal use is actually just to reflect on your use of your journal. What are you enjoying about it? What are you finding difficult? When are you most or least likely to use it? You don't have to make this reflection a formal one, you don't have to write it down anywhere, but just thinking about these things can help uncover ways forward for you personally. We are all different, so I would love to hear about techniques that you've used or are planning to use to help stay consistent in your journals. Drop those in the comments below so that we have even more inspiration for how to keep up with our journals in the year ahead. If you wanted even more tips on how to stay consistent with your journal, the playlist in the top right's where it's at. Or if you wanted to learn more about how you can fix mistakes in your journal, the video at the bottom's for you. Click or tap on either of those and I'll see you over there.